I'm in love with a girl who ended up choosing the other guy. Should I still be in her life, like her birthday, for example?
No. Because at the end of the day, she chose him over you. And don't go where you're tolerated, go where you're celebrated. And if she chose somebody else, wish her well, become a better man, become a more attractive man, apply the things that are in my book and get better so you can attract a better quality woman. And if, who knows, 6 months, a year down the road when things are doing real well and it doesn't work out with her and the other guy, and then you end up running into her, you want her to find a more confident, more improved version of you. And sometimes in those cases, like, this happens all the time to guys, is you meet a girl and you don't know what's going on in her life. You don't know what dudes are there, how long they've been there. There could be an ex in the background. There could be a guy that they were dating. They really thought things were going to go well. And all of a sudden he goes back to his ex. And then when you start dating her, things go well at first. And all of a sudden you notice that she starts drifting away. And it's because the other guy came back in the picture who she was emotionally bonded to, and who maybe she spent 6 months dating that guy. Mm-hmm. Maybe he'd left his wife or left his girlfriend, but they were still talking. And then at some point, for whatever reason, he goes back to his significant other, and then it doesn't work out. And then who's the first person he's going to call? Well, the girl that you're seeing. And if she's not completely over it at that point, and she's not head over heels in love with you, oftentimes what happens is she's going to end up going back to the other dude, and that's just the way it is. So it's always best to not burn another bridge. Just have a non-attached attitude, and because sometimes those girls come back around and things don't work out with that other guy. And the idea is you want to be a better, more confident version of yourself when she does, or potentially when you do run into her in the future, not only because it will make you more attractive to her, but it'll make you more attractive to other women in general. And the more you're perceived as having plenty of choices and plenty of options with other women, the reality is women like you more. As the late, great Doc Love used to say, when kitty cats compete, you win. I mean, that's a fact of life. If no woman wants to date you, then when you do meet women, even if they find you attractive, and they hear either through your demeanor or how you talk about yourself, or through people that know you, that you always get dumped, the girls always blow you off, you don't do well with women or whatever, if they hear that, even if you're handsome and you have money, then they're going to think there's something wrong with you. But if there's tons of girls that like you and want to sleep with you and want to date you, then other women are going to want to know, what's this guy got? Well, why is it all these girls like him too? They will definitely like you more if you're popular with the ladies.
Yeah.
But if you're not, then that's not going to be helpful.
Yeah. And do yourself justice that if you're going to continue being her friend, you're going to watch her move on in life with this new guy.
Yeah, you don't want to be the friend. You want to just say, hey, you're with this other guy. It's kind of inappropriate for me and you to be hanging out of respect for your relationship.
Yeah.
Because you're with him now. You chose him, and so if I was that guy, I would not want me hanging out in the background and you and I going to do drinks and stuff like that. It's not appropriate. And so if you chose him, then you need to be with him. And if it doesn't work out, give me a call, but I'm not going to be your friend. We're not going to hang out in a platonic sense. And I think he was asking about like a birthday, if he should message. Like, no. Like, no contact is no contact. The reason why you go no contact is you're interested in sex and romance, and she's saying, hey, I chose this other guy. How about some blue balls and be in my friend zone or my backup male orbiter in case it doesn't work out? You're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be your emotional tampon. I'm not going to be the guy that you call when things aren't going well with your boyfriend. I only want to hear from you if it doesn't work out with the guy and you know for sure that you're not getting back together with him. I don't date girls that have exes in the background or they're still trying to figure things out. It's like, I want somebody that's single and ready to mingle. And if you're not, that's okay. Figure it out where you're at, and if it's not going to work out with you and the other dude, I'd love to hear from you. But other than that, it's like, I'm not going to hang out as your pal, as your friend. It's not appropriate. It's not appropriate for a lady who's in a committed relationship to be calling a guy that she used to date to hang out or for drinks or for advice or whatever. It's just, I see a lot of comments, and like I saw one this morning, oh, who's going to hold women accountable? I mean, usually guys get pissed off because they're like, well, it's always the man's fault. Well, I mean, the guy's supposed to be the leader, and at the end of the day, the person who wrote the email most of the time is a guy. And so the woman's not there for me to even influence. And so if I can influence the guy's behavior, it's really the man's job to hold the woman accountable, and women in general. And so if you're in a situation where the girl started, dating somebody else she had more time in with, from a leverage perspective, you went on a couple dates or dated for a few weeks and she knew that guy for 6 months or a year, you're always going to lose because he has way more leverage. And so in that case, you gotta let her go and encourage her to do that. But part of being a man and setting the standards is if she wants to keep in contact and keep you as a friend in the background, that you're going to tell her, no, that's not appropriate. It's not okay for, if you're a lady, if you love and value your relationship and family and loyalty, and you want me to respect you as a person, as a woman, then you're not going to expect or try to keep me in your life as your pal or your friend while you have a boyfriend. It's just not appropriate. And so part of men holding women accountable is the women that you potentially could date. You got to hold them accountable, because otherwise, if you continue hanging out with her when the reality is you want to date her, then you're encouraging her to be disloyal. You're putting the vibe into the universe that you're okay with dating women who are disloyal, and the reality is statistically 95% of the relationships that come from cheating, they end in one of the people cheating on each other. And so if you agree to do that, to be the friend and be in the background, you're encouraging infidelity. You're encouraging disloyalty. And when you encourage that, whatever you focus on expands in life. You attract how you act. So if you're open and okay with that behavior, then the other women that you date and come into your life will be the disloyal type of woman, because you've given the green light to the universe to send me more of those girls. Send me more of the disloyal girls. Yeah. And then you end up getting cheated on. You end up getting your heart broken. I see that a lot with guys that constantly get into relationships with women that cheat on them and lie to them, is that they're inviting it. And they're not holding all the women in their life accountable to that standard. Even if it's a woman you work with and you know she's married and yet she's going to go out with another dude from the office to have some drinks or whatever, and you're all in a group talking about it, it's like that's the kind of thing as a man you just go, I mean, quite frankly, with all due respect, you're married. And if you love your husband, you love your family, you're not going to go out one-on-one and have drinks with some other dude from the office who's single. Because the reality is that guy's not going out with you because he wants to be your pal or your friend. He's hoping to get in your pants. And that's not good. And so just sharing that standard and having that standard and communicating it to other people. It could be your best friend who's thinking about cheating on his wife. And if somebody tells that, it's like, I'm going to lose a lot of respect for you as my best friend if you think it's funny and it's cool to go, dick your wife around, because I know her too.
Right.
It's like, that's not okay. If you're not happy, be man enough to leave. Don't lie to her and cheat on her and then expect that I'm going to cover it up for you or participate in that.
That reminds me of when I was doing one of your newsletters one day. There was a guy, it was the similar story, but he went to the girl's birthday party, and the guy that she was with was there, and he just sat and cried.
Oh, yeah, he went out in the front lawn, was crying.
And like reading that and listening to that, it's not funny, Chunky. It's like, that's horrible that you let yourself get that way.
Yeah, it was pathetic.
Beaten down by somebody who doesn't want anything to do with you.
Yeah, because in that one, they had, this was actually like his friend group, so she became part of his friend group and knew all his friends. And so he's over at his friend's house, and because now, after they had dated, she was part of the friend group, somebody was having a birthday party, and of course she was invited, and she brings her new boyfriend, the new guy she's dating. Yeah. And he's there thinking, oh, well, this is my friend, and so he goes there, and she shows up with this other guy, and he just went out in the front yard and lost his shit, was crying, caused a big scene. Of course, everybody's consoling him, and then he comes, so everybody goes inside and tells the girl what had happened. And it just makes him look bad, because you could tell he still wanted another chance with her, wanted to get her back, but it's like when you behave that way, I mean, it makes you look pathetic. The best thing would have been for him to show up there with his own date.
Yeah.
Or 2 or 3 girls.
Or walk around like he doesn't care. Like,
exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Go out and have a meltdown in the front yard of your buddy's house, because then all of his friends feel uncomfortable. And what he was told by his friend group, another part of that email, was that they didn't really want him around anymore because they didn't want any drama. Because they liked her, they liked the new guy she was dating. And even though they'd known him longer, he's showing up at their house or their party. Oh, poor me. I mean, you guys all know those dudes that got their heart broken, and they want to tell everybody about it, and they want to cry in their beer all the time. And meanwhile, the girl's moved on and is happy in a new relationship. And, he's still drooling over, what may have ended 6 months, a year ago, or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.